Huge news, everybody. LPT Realty is officially live here in California, and people are already making the move. And I'm actually excited today to meet with Mike Cabras, Real Estate Mikey, as we call him, here
Right, that's
because
right.
he's making big moves. He's making the big move. And so we're going to talk a little bit about who he is, why it matters that you know about LPT Realty if you're a California real estate professional. And as a matter of fact, there's another 20 states that are about to be launched. And so if you're watching this, chances are that you have a golden opportunity, just like Mike is taking advantage of here in the market. So we want to jump into this here. Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are so that way the audience understands the power of why you're making the move and why they should pay attention.
Wow. Well, thank you, Isaac. Love that introduction. Yeah, LPT is growing. I can be so happier, to be part of this movement. So, thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for having me. Yeah, LPT. It's a company that, that I've watched for a little bit, and then I ended up reaching out to you.
Well, tell us a little bit about you, man. That's what excited me. When you and I jumped on a call, I learned about you, your background, kind of what you've been through, what you've seen. Tell us a little bit about it.
Gosh, okay. Well, a little bit about myself, right?
Mhm.
Been in business since, gosh, I'm gonna date myself, 2004, right? So
Mhm.
came from a retail business. I was a regional manager for Nordstrom at the time, and somebody talked me into real estate and says, "Hey, maybe you should do this. The money's bigger here." I was like, "Hey, why not?" Right? I mean, I've been in sales, so that's what I ended up doing. So been licensed for a little over 20 years, went through the whole process, Remax, KW, and then independent. And, in the last like 5 years, I was actually at our former brokerage, which is EXP Realty.
Mhm.
And I always thought like, gosh, I mean, there has to be a better way to do business, right?
Mhm.
It's like, what can you do to leverage? So I was like, maybe I should get a real estate broker license. And I'm like, no, that's too much responsibility. So when EXP introduced the bolt-on system of like really having a business within a business and having an engine that kind of like you just plug in, right?
Mhm.
You do your thing, and then everybody else like works for you. And I believe that's when I found EXP at the time. That's what I wanted to do. And then now LPT, right? So people
Yeah.
ask, hey, why did you leave EXP, right? And why did you go to LPT?
Well,
So
before we jump into that real quickly, just because I want people to know where you're at, right? So I know this and I know you're doing your best not to brag, but talk to us a little bit about, dude,
right.
you're a top producer, all right? So you guys, this is verifiable, guys. He's a top producer. Tell us a little bit about building your business and what you've been able to accomplish, maybe some of the highlights.
Gosh, yeah. Thank you for that. Because I mean, you want to say that I'm the undercover agent. I don't brag. I don't do social
Yep.
media. I work under the radar because I feel that if I'm in the business, you should know who I am. Because the thing is, you showed my listing, right? I mean, I'll just leave it at that. So a little bit about myself. I was again independent. I was a manager for a small brokerage. We had about almost 100 agents. It was a flat fee brokerage, so I managed that. So I was in the management side for a little bit.
Mm,
But I kind of got bored, man. It's like,
yeah.
dude, I mean, real estate's where I'm at. It's not more of the managing side, but rather I want to be in action. I want to be, in the deals, right? So like I said, when EXP came, I ended up transferring over and I said, dude, I'm going to do this. And I got back in production.
Nice.
So for the last, I would say give or take 5 years in EXP, I was icon 4 times.
Boom.
Um, what that means really is I sold quite a bit of real estate. In 2021, GCI was 1.2 million. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody made a lot of money during that time, but yeah, but we killed it, right? 2023, I mean, 720 in GCI. And here I am now in 2024, 2025. I wanted to focus more on a different aspect of building a team. So we ended up forming a team and, there he goes. I mean, we kind of scaled back a little bit in the business, but yeah, but as far
Scale
as
back
selling,
your
I
production
got
to scale up. Yeah. Slow down to
yeah.
speed up, right? Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. The reason I wanted you to bring that up, or because I knew those stats, but one is I'm going to be working on you to start being more public about how awesome you are.
Right.
But that's a whole different thing. But two, the people that are watching this type of video, what they want to know is that you're valid, right? And I knew that for a fact. It's one of the reasons why I asked you on to do this video and why we're partnering together is You crush it, four-time icon. That's not easy. A lot of people throw that word around, but it's not easy if you ever try to be an individual agent inside of a brokerage and sell 25 plus houses, especially in a competitive market like the one that Mike's in. Pretty much any metro area in California is going to be highly competitive. And so, in order to be able to do that and earn those figures, I mean, what that does is, hey, everybody, listen up. This isn't just some random recruiter, right? This is a producer. This is somebody who went back into the trenches and is building the business, doing things that, frankly, 95% of the real estate world wish they could do. So he's not going to brag for himself, but I'll brag for him. Listen up. He's somebody worth listening to. That's for sure. So talk to me about this though. Now we're talking about that transition, right? You made the transition to LPT. What is it that you saw at LPT that made you say, "Well, I at least got to explore this," and then we'll talk about what are the things that you really love about it.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a loaded question, right? I mean, because I was
Mhm.
happy with the XP, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm part of a big group, local office. The people that surrounds me is great, but what made me look was, I mean, remember the old adage that they say, grass is always greener on the other
Hmm.
side,
Yeah.
right? I mean, do that is that true, really, right?
No.
Because I mean, a lot of agents they do that. It's like, oh, grass is always greener on the other side, but truly, when I vetted this company, and with your help, of course, right? Because I reached out to you and says, "Hey, Isaac, dude, what's up, man?" Right? But when I vetted the company, it is true that the grass is greener on the other side.
Mm.
Because you know what? LPT waters them and they actually fertilize them too as well by providing you tools like agent's choice, right? Be able to go from the plateau models, right? From the flat fee to a rev share fee, model,
Mm.
right? I mean, that's unheard of. You know what I mean? And of course, more stuff we can talk about later, but all the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to me, that's what interested me the most, because now, you know, because I'm always been a servant leader by nature, right?
Mm.
I mean, I always wanted to help, but a lot of the folks that I was helping, I mean, they're struggling, right? I mean, they're like, man, how do you do this? How do you do that? Man, every time that I sell a home, man, I mean, it's like, dude, like my money's not, there's nothing left, right? Because 20% hair there, fees here, fees there,
Yep.
they're like, dude, I can't do this anymore, man. I mean, I have to lose my license. But then again, I go, wait, because I think we probably found the solutions for you.
Yeah.
So now LPT decides to say, hey, I'm going to meet you where you are in your business currently.
Mhm.
And then from there, you have the choice to kind of like, swing from one area to another. And which I believe, it's the premier choice because now I
Yeah.
have the choice.
So yeah, I mean, the fact that there is choice makes it an obvious choice, right? The fact that you can choose your comp plan and whether or not you want a monthly fee or not, right? Like
Right.
it's crazy to think about that. I actually said something to somebody last week and they go, "Hey, is there monthly fees?" Because I hear that there is and I hear there isn't. I go, "It's up to you." I'm like, what?
Right.
Like literally just that threw them off. And they're like, "What do you mean it's up to me?" And I go, "I don't know, it's up to you. Do you want a monthly fee? Because if you want these things, these additional things, healthcare, do you want 7 leads every 7 days from SmartZip? Do you want Zoodealio? Do you want AM cards? Do you want Real Scout? Okay, there's a monthly fee for that. You want to reinvest, you already have all your own systems, you do your own thing your way, and you want to reinvest as much money as possible back into your business. Great, don't do the monthly fee, right? You have another job and maybe you sell a few houses during the spring and summer months and then you don't do anything for a while and you just don't want a month. Awesome. Don't no monthly fee, right? Like that's what's beautiful about that. Talk to me about there's two things that I wanted to ask you about.
Okay,
One is
before we get there,
good.
let me just kind of like, just kind of add something to that, right? I mean, by nature, we should be very helpful with our community, right? I mean, our community should be very tight, right? But getting into this business, it was like you're on your by yourself. I mean, you're out
Mm,
there, and doors are shut behind you when you walk out, that type of stuff. I mean, so now, I mean, we're in a model where we're actually more giving now. We're actually in the point where we are much more giving than we was before, right?
yeah.
We actually share knowledge and building communities and whatnot. So when they said that nobody left behind, gosh, in real estate, you are always left behind. If you're selling 2 or 3 homes a year, you're left behind. Nobody want to talk to you. Nobody want to call you. Nobody wants to recruit you because, dude, I mean, you're no good to them, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, in LPT, what I realized was, hey, there's a room for you here,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
There's something for you here because the thing is, if nobody ever came out and helped you in your business before, LPT will, because now we're gonna groom you to where you can be the real estate agent that you're supposed to be. And
Mm,
let's face it, that's why we get our licenses, right? Because
yeah.
that's what we want to do. We want to make more money, right? And be able to help, as many people as we can. I mean, that's why we do it. I mean,
100%.
hopefully that kind of answers that because I mean, I thought about it, man. Nobody left behind, but in this business, everybody get left behind. I mean, let's face it, 70 to 80% of agents get left behind.
They do.
They get forgotten, right?
Yeah, and actually there's something to say about monthly fees and being left behind. I believe this is my belief, and only because anecdotally I've seen it happen, and I was a perpetrator of this thing, which is when you have a monthly fee, you're more likely to get forgotten if you're not productive. Here's what I mean by that.
Hmm.
Imagine now, I may or may not have done this in the past, and forgive me, real estate gods, for my sins. Uh, but imagine you have an office of 500 agents
Sure.
and they all pay a monthly fee of $128 a month or whatever that is. Well, and you look at your roster at the end of the year and you go, of those 500 agents, only 230 have made a sale in the last year. You now have a choice. Those of us that care and want to help people produce and accomplish their dreams and goals that they set out to do in real estate, they go, let's pick up the phone and call those other, I don't know, I said 280. So let's call those other, what is that, 300? Or
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
yeah, let's call those other 220 people
sure.
and talk to them and see if we can coach them and see if we can get them in. But then someone comes along and goes, hey, 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 whoa, you're telling me you're about to call 220 people that pay us 100 and something of dollars a month to remind them that they're paying us 120 something dollars a month to not sell real estate. No, leave them alone. Let them continue to pay us $128 a month because the moment you call them, they're going to remember, oh, yeah, wait, you guys are taking money out of my card every month, right? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. I haven't sold the house in a year. You're right. This totally is not worth it. You know what? Can you guys stop charging me? I'm going to move my license to no broker affiliation. Click. Right. So
Right.
that monthly
Right.
fee every month, dude, like that's a good racket to run if you're a brokerage. Is let me go ahead and stack up as many $92 a month fees or
Sure.
whatever it is, and just leave those people in the dark and like let's not talk to them so that way they forget that we're charging them.
Just
Right.
like gym memberships, right? I
It's
mean,
exactly the same thing. Netflix, when you have two Netflix accounts by accident, right? They
mhm.
don't call you up and go, hey, how come you're not watching this other Netflix account? It seems like you're
Right.
not using it. Maybe
Right.
we can get you to watch some more. And you go, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't realize I was paying two of these. I got one through my cell
Mhm.
phone company and then one that I signed up for one time to watch this random thing and forgot to cancel. Let me go cancel that one. They don't do that. So the
Yeah.
brokerage world, I'd actually argue monthly fees create a world in which you're more likely to get ignored. Now, someone can debate me on that, but that's just been my experience. But
Yeah.
back to you, Mike.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, gosh, it saddens me that that happens, right? Because I mean, yeah, I mean they get forgotten, man. I mean, and the thing is, I realized that, I mean, as I build a team, like I said, when I was with the XP, I had a team, and that's what happened. It's like I just kind of let them go, and they're paying their fees or whatever, and they seem to get forgotten because if there's no transactions, like okay, well they're paying the fees, so it's all good,
Yeah,
right? So
exactly. Hey,
yeah,
thanks for helping us pay for the coffee.
yeah,
Right.
appreciate that. The lights on
Yeah,
today.
exactly. So Mike, talk to me a little bit about this. What about the marketing, specifically listing Power Pack or any other marketing that you've used or seen from LPT? Tell me what your impressions have been. Have you been able to use them? Walk us through some of that.
You know what? Yes, I have actually. So, like moving to this brokerage, I mean, I do have several listings that I moved over, right?
Mhm.
So, the cool part about it was so simple to actually set up, right? One thing that I hated is actually setting it up, lining everything up, then and asking for it to be printed, and sometimes the printing doesn't even come out right, and yes, sure, I have it, right? But the thing is, I don't use it, right? So put that in context for a second here. With LPT, it's like 3 clicks, right? put my photo in, upload the 3 photos, press the button, and the whole marketing suite's done for you, right? And then I just said, okay, I approve it. Click ship, and then I get it within a couple of days, right? I mean, because
Mhm.
I paid for the express thing, right?
Yeah.
So, so let me tell you a little bit about my experience with that, right? So I recently used it on one of my listings,
Okay.
and the thing is, other agents are actually noticing it
Hmm.
because they go, wow, this is kind of cool, right? The
Yeah.
fan plates that you left behind and stuff like that. um, I had a buyer that didn't know anything about this area, but the brochures that you had in there actually told them everything about this area,
Hmm.
like from dry cleaning to restaurants to how far the airport is and everything like that. So I mean, I think that within itself was a value. And then the best part is, and I always say this, the best part in life is free, and this is totally free, right? Because they do it for you.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
that's my experience with marketing, and also, it actually attracts other agents as well and saying, hey, this is pretty cool. Tell me more about it. So it's getting some notice.
yeah, I think one of the important things to note that you just talked about is it differentiates you. It
Hmm.
makes you different. It makes you different to the seller when you're on a listing appointment, right? Because you're the one showing up with this pack. You're explaining to them why it matters, why text capture technology trumps just putting a phone number on the sign, right? You're showing them I'm committed to your house as my piece of business, more committed than anybody else. You have business cards printed specifically for their house, all this stuff that comes in the package, right? Then you're right. You go to the back end. You're not having to hire an entire marketing team. You're not coordinating all this stuff and picking up. Do I get oversized door hangers this time? Do I really want thank you cards that
Right.
I fill out on my? You don't have to think through any of that. You don't have to proof any of that. You don't have to go, oh, that local printer. And we all know this. We've all been through this. The local printer's cat got sick. Your order is now
Right.
delayed a week. Like it's just the real talk. Let's be real.
Hmm.
They're all mom and pop shops and we love them to death and I want to support them. And the challenges that come along with working with those shops are generally things like that. My kid got sick. Sorry. Now you're mailing, now your door hangers for this weekend's open house. Nope, not going to happen. Right. You're just, I mean, has this ever happened to you? Somebody watching, you order just listed by the time it actually gets to you, you're already in contract. So you're like, oh, I guess I'll put just sold a little sticker on there or something. Like it happens.
Right. It
Right.
happens.
Whereas if
Happens.
you use this streamlined process, it's easy. Now you start talking about finding buyers. So first, we're impressing the sellers and winning listings. Second, we're
Hmm.
saving time and energy and resources on getting the materials to us. Now we're finding buyers quickly and helping sell the listing faster and even differentiating ourselves in the eyes of the buyer. Right. So I've differentiated myself in the eyes of the seller. Now I'm differentiating myself in the eyes of the buyer. And while doing all that, as long as I'm doing the right thing and emptying the box, I'm differentiating myself to all my future clients, also known as neighbors, right? That's huge.
Yeah, that's it.
And
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 then
just to allude to that, when you said something about listing earlier, so
mhm.
actually use this, right? If you can see it, I don't know if you can see it. It's the active marketing plan, right?
Okay, yep.
Oh, man, look at this. It's a freaking magazine, man. You know what I mean? It's I don't know if you can see it, but
I think if you hold it like right in front of your body, it
right
will
here, right?
right
Yeah.
there.
So it's a magazine, right? I mean, so
Mhm.
basically, this is my whole marketing plan, right? So I've actually used this thing with one of my clients, right? So I
Mhm.
kind of like a guinea pig, right? One of my newer clients, hey man, check this thing out. I'm gonna mail you this thing. This is what I do for your home, right? So this one actually, actual magazine actually mirrors the listing power pack.
Yeah.
It mirrors it. So by the time that I actually get there, right, they already know everything that I need to do. So just like, so what do I say? Sign the contract, please.
Yep. They know exactly what they're looking at, right?
They know exactly how am I differentiating my marketing tool for them so I can sell their home faster, right? Because who wouldn't want like their house to be my business card for the next like month that I'm selling their home? Who does that? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's another tool that that nobody else has that I can now share with sellers and stuff like that. And basically this is it. You know what I mean? I don't have to like
Mhm.
say anything else. You go over to your listing appointment, say, hey, do you have any other questions? Do you understand how the marketing thing kind of works? You know that we do everything else, but this is really
Yeah.
what we need to talk about, right?
Yeah,
So
it's important.
yeah.
So we're talking a little bit about, hey, it's open in California. It made a lot of sense for you. We went through your kind of career highlights and why you made this choice. We're talking about marketing that's actually working inside the business. Another thing that we can point out, by the way, for anybody watching this for LPT Realty is a couple things. One, as somebody who is in the early phases of LPT, right? We are winning. We are being awarded stock on our first, third, 15th, and in some of our cases 35th transaction of every
Right.
year. And every time we sponsor somebody into the program, into the brokerage, that is, we also are awarded stock. Talk to me about what are your thoughts on pre-IPO stock for a company like this?
Well, gosh, I mean, who doesn't want that opportunity, right? I
Mm,
mean, this one doesn't happen, right? Either one, you're late to the game, or or just you don't know about it, right? Because this
yep.
is, but with LPT, I mean, definitely, I mean, the pre-IPO, um, it's definitely something worth gambling with, right? Because at the end of the day, man, if it doesn't work, what? I'm still selling real estate, so I mean,
Yeah,
but
you
if it
still
does,
sold 35 houses or
yeah,
15 or
you
whatever
know
it
what I
is.
mean? I still
Chances
sold
are you're not
35
like,
houses,
yeah,
you
chances
know?
are you're not down on your luck.
Yeah. But here it is. It's more of a strategic play, right?
Mm,
It's not like a play that, hey, it might happen, right? I mean, the way the trajectory, what I'm seeing this company doing right now, it's gonna happen, right?
yeah.
And I think it's gonna happen pretty hard, and it's gonna happen pretty fast too. With the addition of Michael Valdez, as our leader and CEO of international growth, and now Jeff Whiteside. I think they are making an announcement today about that. Him joining our team, to
Yep.
expand. So I couldn't be happier, man. I mean, I think this pre-IPO thing, man, it's just like I'm gonna gamble, right? So what? I'll wait 5 years, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like I said, it's selling real estate. This is just an added bonus.
Hmm. Well, and
Yeah.
that's the thing is the reality is I didn't really put much stock or weight, no pun intended, but much stock in that when I came over. I think it's great. I think a lot of people are excited about it. Now that I'm hearing and understanding why they're doing it the way they did it, the fact that Robert decided to self-fund the
Mm.
entire brokerage so that he wouldn't have the pressure from investors to go public earlier prematurely.
Oh, wow.
He
Okay.
wanted to make sure that the IPO was bigger. So the two other publicly traded cloud-based brokerages that are in the space, they went public with less than 2,500 agents, each one of them,
Sure.
right? Somewhere in that range, like 1,500 and 2,000. And that's when they had that few agents. They were open in all 50 states and they were trying to grow. They didn't have a blue chip company underwriting the deal. LPT does, and that's the vision, right? So my argument isn't that this thing's going to go wild. Go talk to somebody else about your investment. Here's what got me excited to take it more serious is how serious he's taking it. How serious a multimillionaire like Robert, who's made hundreds of millions of dollars in the mortgage space, how serious he's taking the strategy behind the IPO, which is, hey, let's get JP Morgan to underwrite it. Let's make sure we're at 15 to 20,000 agents, like literally 10x what these other companies were at when they
Right.
decided to IPO. Well, if their track record is any indication of how well this will do, man, we're looking real good. So I'm excited about that. Moving on a little bit, talk to us about Mike, the group that you're joining with us, but then also that you're investing in. Like, talk to a little bit about if I'm an agent out there in the marketplace, I go, hey, LPT seems about right. Yeah, no sign up fee, no monthly fee. I get to choose my comp plan. I get free marketing. I could get pre-IPO stock. I could build a downline, all these great things. Um, okay, great. LPT makes sense. Tell me why it makes sense to partner maybe with you, Mike, at LPT, as opposed to just kind of joining based on like some random corporate website.
Right. Well, I mean, like we all know, like anytime that you join any real estate company, I think it's important that you vet the company that you're joining, and also who's in that company. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And how can you leverage the people in that company or that group or that team, right?
yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, everybody needs support. I mean, even I at the level that I do business, I still need support. I still need your support, Isaac, right? Um, so it's like so here's the thing in Sacramento. I mean, if you decide to partner with us in LPT, right? Um, I'm partnered with actually the number one team in Sacramento. I think he was like number one in California at one time, and
Yep.
then and that's Sunit Agwal, right?
Yep.
So I'm in business partnership with Sunit, and the thing is, the cool part about it is, we have systems, we have tools, we have ISAs, we have appointment setters. I mean, we have all this engine that will help you take your business to the next level. So if you do decide to partner with us in Sacramento, I think you need to choose wisely who you want to partner up with. Because at the end of the day, do they have your best interest in mind? Do you have the support? Do you have the mastermind? I think partnering with us, you and myself and Sunit, I think it's a no-brainer. I think this is somebody to take consider, because not only we can scale you as a sole agent, we can also help you and provide system for you as a team, or if you're an independent brokerage. I mean, I think with our experience and in our connection in the space, I think this is really a good fit, to take you where you need to go.
Yeah, I mean, just look at that. I mean, there's plenty of other people involved, right? You go to the YouTube channel, you go to the Facebook groups, all that stuff, and there's a lot of other people involved. But if you just looked at those three people that Mike just mentioned, me, Mike, Sunit, I'm down here in San Diego. They're up there in Sacramento. And I'd actually tack on to what Mike said. I said, I don't really care if you're in Sacramento or not, because here's the things that you can do inside your business, they apply in San Diego and Los Angeles, Orange County,
Yes, sir.
Riverside, Inland Empire, Fresno, you name it, right? All across California. And then really, there's no difference in Oklahoma, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas, right? I mean, the contracts change, but the business doesn't change. And
Exactly.
so what's interesting too is if you think about it, look at just the three of us. And I didn't think about this before the call, but as you were saying, it made a lot of sense. So you're a top producing solo. Sunit ran an independent brokerage. I've run big teams, right? So you name it, and whoever's watching this video, if you go, oh, I'm just starting up, I want to be a solo agent, I don't ever want to build a team. Awesome. We got you covered. Oh,
Right.
hey, I'm an independent broker. I have 49 agents and we're doing pretty well, but I don't think I could provide them with enough runway in the marketing department or anything like that to really give them the tools that they need at the scale that I'm at. Awesome. Sunit can walk you through what he did, where he was, and why he made the move. Maybe you run a really big team and you're at Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, EXP, whatever, and you've run a really great team and you want to blow it up and go even harder. Great. We've got you covered. Right. So I think that's really unique in that we run the gamut of the experience that we have. Um, just for anybody who's questioning, like, okay, but what does that mean in terms of like day to day, Isaac? How do you guys help? Well, first of all, we're accessible, right? And we're accessible to people inside of our industry, inside of our networks, regardless. But if you join in with us, obviously we have that much bigger of a vested interest in your success. How else does that play out more formally, right? We have the private Facebook group. We have the weekly mastermind. We have a bi-weekly mastermind that combines other people's groups, right? So inside of all these rev share companies, there's different groups depending on who you name as your sponsor. Well, because we love and LPT is so focused on collaboration, we have a weekly mastermind just for our group, and anybody could join it in LPT, but we tend to just have those same people show up. But we also partner up with other big groups every other week in the mastermind called The Circle. And man, we're just opening our playbook. We're giving you guys the answers to the questions on, hey, I was thinking about doing this in my business. Well, great. Most places, YouTube, podcast, some kind of speech or something, some class, they basically tell you, here's what you can do. You can do a client appreciation event every 90 days. And these are the 4 events I do every single year. And here's what I do, blah, blah, blah. And you have two choices. One is go figure it out, or two, pay them an ungodly amount of money to get access to all that information. Or three, now it's partner up with people who have a vested interest to see you succeed, who are going to say, okay, great. Yeah, you want to do those 4 client appreciation events, but where do you start? Do you go Eventbrite, eBrite? How do you email them? What about text message campaigns? How do you negotiate with the venue? Do you have a list of the items that you're going to need to take on something like this? Right? All these unanswered questions that usually stop us from executing on the big idea because we don't have the small details. That's what this does, right? There's nothing that Mike's going to come and ask me about that I've done in my business, and vice versa. There's nothing he's done in his business. I'm going to come and ask him, hey, Mike, I remember you said you do this one thing at listings, where you send out this pre-listing packet that really lays the foundation for. Mike's going to go, great, in your inbox, dude. Right. So I think that's really huge. Anything to add to that, Mike? Why people should be really excited about partnering up with us?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I mean, that would in itself is the the price for admission. But however, like I said, I mean, what we provide is just the bonus, right?
Exactly.
It really boils down to really who you partner up with, right? You have, I mean, when you make decision, you have to make it strategically. You can't just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sign up, right? But at the end of the day, you have to put some thought into it because you got to figure out who's around you. I mean, who you gonna be partner up with? Who's in that organization that's gonna elevate you, right? I mean, that is the most
Mhm.
important thing. Back in the days, it's just like, hey, sign up here, Remax, whatever. I mean, nobody cares, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody's kind of like solo, right? Nobody
Yeah.
cares about whatever's doing, anybody's doing. But now it's like you have to be strategic in who you want to partner up with,
Hmm.
depending on
So,
where you are. Yeah, depending on where you are in your business, right?
mhm,
And and whatever you want to accomplish, you have to be in within a certain group that can scale you to that direction that you want to take your business. And that's
yeah,
just the icing of the cake, right? I mean,
100%.
LPT by itself already has a lot of tools and trainings and and maybe you can talk a little bit about that, about being the number one training in the world. I think we already got some accolades about that too as well. This is kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean, our group is just an icing of the cake.
Yeah.
LPT in general already has everything that you can ever ask for, right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
we are just the turbocharged, right? You want to call it.
Absolutely. And for those of us who don't know exactly what that means, here's what it is. Whenever you join LPT Realty, you end up doing something, naming a sponsor, right? The person who's most influential in bringing you over. And that person is going to get some financial incentive every time you sell a house and pay the company some form of commission. Right. It's called a revenue share. If you're unfamiliar with it, our YouTube channel has a ton of videos breaking it down, difference between profit share and revenue share. Does it even matter? Right. But here's the thing, you do that. Now, when you're doing that, you have a choice. You can name nobody, which means, hey, I'm just a free agent out here in the marketplace under LPT. They may or may not, you know, give me all the stuff that I need. They definitely will. But, anyways, the or you can name somebody that you know, your buddy, right? Somebody that's like, oh, hey, you're an LPT agent, and you they introduced me to the words LPT one time. Or you can do some real research and go figure out who can actually help me grow my business because they have an incentive to see me grow, right? They're getting paid to write your name down on that thing. That means that that person is incentivized to see you grow. So you can choose somebody who's like maybe a good friend, but is that person somebody who's going to help you get to where you want to go to? Right? Have they been where you want to be? And so that's the big part of picking a sponsorship. That's why Mike's saying you got to be strategic with it, right? Hey, maybe I can choose this person and it'd be nice and it'd be cool for them. But at the end of the day, if I reach out to them and try to get information, is it going to be something that's of value? Or can I leverage the fact that Mike is my sponsor? And so now Mike is going to be the one helping me figure out how to make $1.2 million in GCI. Like that's a great number to know, right? So the other thing though, Mike just talked about, and I'm making a separate video on this, but I think it's important to point out, Training Magazine is one of the leading syndications for any company across any industry on how people train, right? And they have a bunch of different criteria, and I'll put a link to the article in the show notes. But what happens is they go out and they check out the all across all industries, not just real estate. We're talking mortgage, we're talking healthcare. They're saying who's training their people the best, who's training their employees, their sales staff, whatever it is, the best. And what's interesting is for a long time, Keller Williams touted being the number one training organization in the world because of that award. And by the way, they earned it. Hands down, they earned it. They crushed for many, many years. Well, it just so happens that in 2025, there's a new name to that added to that list. All right. There's only two real estate companies on the whole planet that made that list. LPT is one of them. And so we know that we've started this Ascend initiative, which is to train agents better than anybody else on the planet. And what's great is that that hasn't even gotten kicked in full motion and we're
Right.
already being awarded. Already. Like, can you imagine what it's going to look, how dominant it's going to be for the next several years as we roll out the Ascend initiative? It's insane. So what Mike is basically saying is, and this is not what we're advocating for, but hypothetically, if you just went to LPT blind and picked a sponsor out of a hat, You're still going to get amazing training. What we do to better support the people that name us as their sponsors, specifically Mike, what we do is we come alongside and help them in any additional area that they might need. Right. We
Nice.
love doing that because, again, we have a vested interest in seeing you succeed. So, do we wish we could help all 1.3 million realtors or whatever the number is now? Yeah, of course we do. But we have to be strategic and honor our time and pick and choose where we spend that time and that energy and those resources and the wisdom of our previous production. Where are we going to spend that? Well, we're going to spend it with the people who say, I want to partner with you. Right. So those are huge things. Now, a couple things we wanted to point out. One is Mike's been in the business a while. He's seen different market cycles. He's also earned ungodly amounts of money that I know a lot of you guys would love to earn as well. So, Mike, here's my question kind of coming in for a landing here is for agents who might be curious, how can they reach you? Tell
You know,
us how
honestly,
they get in touch with you.
very, very simple. You know what I mean? Just call me. Call me, text me, right? 916-254-1702. That's the best thing. It's like no smoke signal, no dove, none of that stuff. Let's just go basic and just call me or text me. That's the best way.
100%. What we're also going to do, just so you know, if you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere else, we'll include Mike's link. Because let's say, because this happens a lot, let's say you're like, you know what, LPT, I already know it's the right move. I was curious about who I should name as a sponsor, and you've just decided already, hey, Mike is going to be my guy. Okay, there's two things you can do. One is we're going to include a link to Mike's calendar if you want to chat with him. But in addition to that, let's say you've made up your mind, you already know Mike, you've already had that conversation, but you're watching this video. You're going to go down there. We're also going to have Mike's direct sign in link. So what this does is by clicking that link with Mike's name in it, you go through the onboarding process at LPT because you know it's a good model for you, you know it works, right? You're not, making any crazy decision, you're thinking through it and you go, LPT is the right move. Well, what that's going to do, it's automatically going to include Mike in there if you click that link. So that way you guys know you're in alignment from day one. And again, this isn't just Sacramento people, this is people all across California and the US. We're here to help you. So Mike is fully supported by the way of real estate CEOs. He has been growing, will continue to grow, and wants to invest in agents. And so there's a lot of people that partner up with me at the Real Estate CEOs platform, but not all of them are super invested in spending time growing agents. The people that we bring on to the channel, though, like this, they are. Right. Mike has already made it very clear to me. Hey, I want to invest in people. I want to help agents. I want to build community. And so that's why I'm going super deep into promoting him as a potential sponsor for you at LPT. Uh, Mike, any advice for agents that are considering making the move to LPT, but they might still be on the fence?
Honestly, I mean, do it like everybody. Do it like when you're about to make it the biggest decision of your life, right? You have to do your research,
Mm,
right? Really vet it, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, LPT is really going to be your brokerage for life. I don't think you're going to go anywhere else, right? I mean, we that's something that I really believe. So before you make any changes, before you make that decision, really vet the company. Talk to us, see if we're right, or if the organization is the right fit, LPT by itself, right?
mhm.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about you, not the company, right? If you look into this model and it aligns the trajectory you want to take your business, then great, make the decision. But if
Yep,
it doesn't, great, stay where you are, right? What do
100%.
you think?
I love it. I love it. California agents, this is your moment. LPT Realty is here. And with leaders like Mike, you have an opportunity to join the fastest growing, game changing brokerage in US history. So here's what I want you to do I want you to go in the description below or rewind a little bit and take down Mike's number and reach out to him today to learn more about how this move can actually transform your entire career. Mike, thanks so much for jumping on with me, brother. I appreciate it.
No, thank you, Isaac. I'm so happy to be here, right? So thank you.